I met my wife after the divorce from my ex. We got married, had a child, and built a simple, happy life. Then one day, 8 years later, a call came out of the blue from my ex-wife, Claire. Nathaniel? Are you there? How? How have you been? My first instinct was to hang up, but my wife, Sarah, gently put her hand on my arm. Just listen, she whispered. Jessica is applying to a top-tier boarding school in England. Claire's voice crackled through the phone. The application process is pretty strict. They need identity verification from her biological father, in person. She took a shaky breath. For the sake of the daughter we share, can you please come to England? Nathaniel, I swear, this is the last time I will ever bother you. The call came on a Saturday afternoon. I was rubbing Sarah's shoulders, telling her about the funny thing that happened while I was out getting groceries. She'd been working herself to the bone, launching her own business, and had gotten so thin it worried me. I had a pot of homemade chicken soup simmering for her on the stove. Our 5-year-old daughter, Lily, was playing with her teddy bears in the little pop-up tent I'd set up for her in the living room. The sudden ring of my phone shattered the peace. Seeing my hands were busy, Sarah picked it up and answered. The voice that came through was trembling. Nathaniel? Are you there? How? How have you been? The sound, both strange and familiar, made my mind go blank for a second. Even Sarah's expression shifted. As I came to my senses, in motion for her to hang up, Claire seemed to sense it, rushing her words. Jessica is applying to a top-tier boarding school in England, she said, her voice tight with panic. The application process is pretty strict. They need identity verification from her biological father, in person. This is a turning point in her life. For the sake of the daughter we share, can you please come to England? Nathaniel, I swear, this is the last time I will ever bother you. I felt a wave of dizziness. My 6-year marriage to Claire was a scar I kept buried deep. She pursued me for 3 years in college. I finally fell for her under the fireworks at our graduation ceremony, when she stood on her toes and whispered, Nathaniel, you know what I love most about you? Your confidence. The way you carry yourself like you can take on the world. I will always respect that, and I will always protect it. Her eyes sparkled, reflecting the face of the man who was completely captivated. After graduation, Claire became a cardiologist, and I landed a job as a coder at a big tech firm in Seattle. We got married, and it wasn't long before our daughter, Jessica, was born. I worked myself to the bone, trying to build a better life for the 2 women I loved most in the world. My health started to suffer from the exhaustion, but I didn't care. I thought our happiness would last forever. Until the day Claire came home from the gym. She traced the rim of the glass of warm milk I handed her, the light casting shifting shadows across her face. After a long silence, she said, Nathaniel, the new trainer at the gym, Leo, he reminds me of you when you were younger. From that day on, Claire and Leo grew closer. She was at the gym every day, and on her off days, she went hiking with him. She bought package after package of personal training sessions to boost his sales numbers. He'd told her, you take care of your patient's health, and I'll take care of yours. I offered to go with her many times, but she always refused. You're so worn out, and you work so hard. You should just stay home and rest. I argued with her, but it was pointless. One time, my work blazer was so worn out it was practically falling apart. After work, I went to the mall to buy a new one. By sheer coincidence, I saw Claire standing at a counter in a high-end men's store with Jessica, carefully helping Leo pick out a new suit. When he emerged from the dressing room, her eyes lit up with an unmistakable admiration. My hands clenched into fists, anger rushing to my head. I strode over and confronted her. Seeing my furious, bloodshot eyes, Claire looked startled for a moment. Then her face hardened into a mask of annoyance and disgust. Leo is up for the senior trainer position at the gym. I'm helping him pick out something professional. There's nothing going on between us. We're just friends, she snapped. Nathaniel, can you please have some class? Leo, hearing this, smirked. He flexed his bicep, his voice dripping with condescension. So, Claire, this is the out-of-shape husband you were telling me about? I threw a punch, and we started brawling right there in the store. In the chaos, Claire threw herself in front of Leo, screaming at me. If you're gonna have a meltdown, do it at home. Don't embarrass me here, and don't you dare scare my daughter. Her face was a storm of fury and contempt. Her words stopped me cold. I looked at Jessica's terrified little face, and all the fight went out of me. After that, I poured everything I had into my work and my daughter. She was so young, I wanted to give her a stable home. Jessica was my first child, the center of my world. I was making good money, but I pushed myself harder, trying to save more so I could give her a future without worry. All I wanted was for her to be healthy, happy, and free. I would bear all the burdens for her. On her 5th birthday, I gave her the little dress I had made myself. I'd stayed up late for 2 weeks straight sewing it. I presented it to her like it was a priceless treasure. Jessica, who was playing with her Barbie dolls, glanced up for a second and muttered, "This dress is so ugly and homemade. It looks cheap. I'm not wearing it." 1,000 tiny needles pricked at my heart. But it was her birthday, and I didn't want to ruin it. I suggested we go to the amusement park. To my surprise, Jessica shook her head, her innocent face turning cold. "I want to go to the amusement park with Uncle Leo and Mommy for my birthday. He can ride the roller coasters with me." I had a heart condition and couldn't ride roller coasters. I never imagined that would become my daughter's reason for not wanting me at her own birthday party. Before I could recover from that blow, her next words sent me into a deep freeze. "Mommy," she said, turning to Claire, her small face filled with an earnest hope. "Can Uncle Leo go to the parent-teacher conference next week instead of him? Uncle Leo is so handsome and strong. All the other kids will be so jealous of me. My parents died when I was young, and I was raised by my grandmother. After she passed away my senior year of high school, I was completely alone. Mary and Claire had given me a family again. But now, standing there, I no longer knew what a family was or where I could find one. So I started working around the clock, hiding at the office. One day, a sharp, twisting pain shot through my chest, a pain so intense it drilled straight into my brain. I collapsed, convulsing. My first instinct was to call Claire, but the call wouldn't go through. "The number you have dialed is currently unavailable." The cold, automated voice repeated itself a few times before I finally gave up. With a trembling hand, I dialed 911. I managed to give them my address before I blacked out. When I woke up, the doctor told me it was acute myocarditis brought on by extreme exhaustion. "You got here just in time. Any later, and you wouldn't have made it." He adjusted his glasses. "Dr. Sutton from our cardiology department was supposed to be your attending physician. She has more experience with these cases. But we couldn't reach her at the time. She later said a friend of hers had sprained an ankle at the gym, and she had to be there. She also said this was just one of your old flare-ups and wasn't a big deal, so she asked me to take over." I laughed. My heart felt like a dead, stagnant pool. After thanking the doctor, I called Claire. "Claire, let's get a divorce." On the day we signed the papers, Claire's face was unreadable. She looked like she wanted to say something, but in the end, she said nothing at all. Jessica chose to stay with her. I quit my job, started my own small consulting firm, and eventually became my own boss. Then I met Sarah, the woman I loved and who loved me back. We had our precious Lily. I was healed by love, and my health slowly improved. Life was calm. Until today. On the other end of the line, Claire waited in silence. "I can't," I said coldly, and hung up. Sarah had been listening beside me the whole time. She knew everything about my past. I had never hidden anything from her. She took my hand and curled up against me. "I think you should go," she said softly. "I remember how you used to pull all-nighters on side projects just to donate to those kids in rural Appalachia. If Jessica's future is really affected because you're not there, I'm afraid you'll regret it one day. And I don't want you to live with regrets." She hugged me tighter. "As for Claire, I trust you." Nearby, Lily sensed the change in atmosphere. She abandoned her favorite teddy bear and came pattering over on her little legs, throwing her arms around me. "Daddy, where are you going? Are you leaving me and Mommy? I don't want to go to the amusement park anymore. Please don't go, okay?" Her little face was crumpled in distress, her eyes shimmering with tears. She looked so adorable I couldn't help but smile. I scooped her up and held her close, comforting her. "You and Mommy are the people Daddy loves most in the whole world. How could I ever leave you?" I exchanged a look with Sarah and decided to tell Lily the truth. "Honey, Daddy actually has another little girl," I explained gently. "She's your big sister. She's in England trying to get into a new school, and Daddy has to go help her with some paperwork. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Lily blinked her big eyes. "Where's England? Is it fun? I want to go too." "Can I, Daddy?" "Mommy." The tears on her cheeks sparkled like tiny jewels. My heart ached. I wiped them away. "Of course you can. Mommy is super busy with work right now, so she can't look after you." I continued. "How about you come with Daddy first? And when Mommy's done with her work, she can come meet us in England. How does that sound?" "Okay." The little negotiator was instantly appeased. As Sarah helped us pack, she carefully checked my medications, muttering to herself about what to take for a cold, a cough, or if my heart acted up. I chuckled. "You sound like a doctor now." "I've been so worried about your health these last few years. I've done a ton of medical research," she said with a smile. "I'm practically a semi-pro." I felt a lump in my throat and pulled her into a hug. "My daughter and I will be waiting for you in England." England was dreary and rainy. I refused Claire's offer to stay in the apartment she'd rented and booked a hotel for myself. After checking in, I carefully tucked my passport and documents into a hidden zippered pocket in my bag. Once we were settled, I took Lily to meet Claire. The whole way there, my little girl was buzzing with excitement, curious about everything. I carried her, patiently answering her endless questions. Lily wrapped her arms around my neck and whispered in my ear, "Daddy, there's a girl staring at us." I turned and saw a tall, slender girl. She was wearing an elegant, perfectly fitted dress and holding a clear umbrella, looking poised and proper, not a single hair out of place. When she saw me turn, our eyes met. Her cool expression suddenly crumbled into one of vulnerability. It was 13-year-old Jessica. She'd changed so much I almost didn't recognize her. Seeing me look at her, she broke into a run, splashing through the puddles on the sidewalk. She reached me and grabbed my sleeve, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "Daddy, Daddy, it's really you," she choked out, repeating my name over and over. I patted her back gently to comfort her. After a moment, she calmed down and finally took a good look at Lily in my arms. Her eyes instantly flared with jealousy and suspicion. She pointed a finger at Lily. "Daddy, who is she?" Before I could answer, she reached out to pull Lily away. "Get down. You're not allowed to be in my daddy's arms." I raised my arm, blocking Jessica's hand, and pulled Lily tighter against me. "He is my daddy." Lily enunciated each word. She wasn't intimidated by Jessica being older than her. Her sweet voice was filled with unshakable conviction. I stroked Lily's hair. "What did you say?" Jessica practically screamed. "That's impossible. Daddy only has one daughter, and that's me." "You're lying." She was like a little lioness, fur bristling, a stark contrast to her earlier dignified appearance. She tried to lunge at Lily again. I stopped her, shocked by the sudden change. "Do not attack her again," I said sharply. "Let me introduce you. This is my daughter, Lily. And for the record, when your mother and I got divorced, you chose to go with her. She has full custody. You're not my daughter anymore." Jessica's head dropped, and she started sobbing again. The London rain kept falling. Just then, a car came speeding toward us. It was moving too fast, and for a terrifying second, it looked like it was going to hit us. With no time to think, I yelled, "Look out!" and instinctively spun around, crouching down to shield Lily with my body. Thankfully, the car swerved at the last second, close enough that the splash from the puddle soaked my jacket. After the car passed, my heart was still pounding as I checked Lily over to make sure she wasn't hurt. "I'm okay, Daddy," Lily reassured me. I let out a long breath of relief. Only then did I remember Jessica. Her expensive dress was splattered with mud, and her eyes were red. But she wasn't paying attention to her ruined clothes. She was staring intently at Lily's little blue floral dress. "Daddy," she said, her voice tight, "isn't that my dress?" My grandmother had been a well-known local seamstress, and I'd picked up the skill from her. People had even offered to pay me to make clothes for them, but I was always too busy with work to accept. But every year, without fail, I would hand-sew a little dress for Jessica. I always used the softest, most comfortable, skin-friendly fabrics. It was my way of telling her that I loved her, that I would always be her rock. She used to love the dresses I made, insisting on wearing them to preschool every day. But as she got a little older, she became brand conscious. She started demanding the most expensive, trendiest clothes and refused to wear the little dresses I made, which she now claimed looked cheap. The ones she outgrew, she cut up into pieces to make beanbags. The ones that still fit just disappeared. When I asked about them, she'd just say, "Who cares if some cheap thing got lost?" It's not like it was anything special. It was only when I was moving out of that house that I found it. The little dress I had given her on her 5th birthday, tossed in the communal trash bin. It was also a blue floral dress. I sighed. Beside me, Lily was already jumping up and down in agitation. "No, it's not. This is the dress my daddy made for my birthday. It even has my name on it." She proudly showed Jessica the little tag on the collar where Lily Chun was embroidered. "Daddy said he's going to make me a new one every year. All my friends are so jealous that I have a daddy who can make dresses. Didn't your new daddy make you any?" That last sentence seemed to strike a nerve. Enraged, Jessica clenched her fists, but then she glanced at me. Seeing the protective way I held Lily, she somehow managed to swallow her anger, though her breath came in ragged gasps. "This is your dress, sweetie," I said, calming Lily. Then I turned to Jessica. "Where's your mother? Why are you here by yourself?" It was strange. I'd assumed she, Claire, and Leo would be waiting for me together. "I snuck out," Jessica mumbled. "I wanted to see you as soon as possible. I'll take you to the school to meet her." As we walked, she kept stealing glances at me. Suddenly, she tugged on my sleeve, her voice thick with tears. "Daddy, can you stay in England this time? Can we be a family again, just like before?" Before I could answer, Lily poked her little head out and retorted, "No way. My mommy is coming to get us in a few days." Seeing my lack of response, Jessica fell silent, her head bowed, but her hand never let go of my sleeve. The clouds overhead grew heavy and dark. Students milled about, laughing and talking. In the doorway of a coffee shop, a woman craned her neck, searching the crowd. Her hair was cut in a sharp, stylish bob. Her makeup was flawless, and a black designer dress perfectly accentuated her figure. The only thing that seemed out of place was the necklace she wore, my graduation gift to her from college. The diamond had lost its luster over the years. When Claire saw the three of us, she froze for a second. Then her eyes widened, fixing on me as I walked toward her. She drew in a sharp breath, as if confirming it was really me. Her expression flooded with undisguised joy, longing, and affection. Her lips parted and closed, as if she had a million things to say. Finally, she stepped forward and gripped my hand, her eyes welling up as her voice trembled. "Nate, it's been 8 years. I've missed you so much." Her grip tightened. "Let's stop this foolishness. Let's get back together, okay?" I didn't answer her question. I simply pulled my hand away, picked up Lily, and took a step back, putting distance between us. "Let's talk about Jessica's school application. What do I need to do?" Claire's eyes fell on Lily's face, so similar to my own, and her smile froze. She didn't ask who Lily was. After a moment, she composed herself, letting her hand drop and offering me a gentle smile. "You must be exhausted from a trip. Let's go inside and get something to eat. We can talk while we eat." Only then did she seem to notice Jessica standing beside her. Her expression changed instantly at the sight of the mud spots on her daughter's dress. "What happened to your dress?" she snapped, her voice filled with anger. "What have I taught you about presentation?" Jessica stared at the ground, not saying a word. It seemed the relationship between mother and daughter wasn't as close as it used to be. I rubbed my temples, annoyed. Ignoring them, I walked into the coffee shop. When we sat down, Claire quickly slid into the seat next to me. As she casually tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, the scent of rose perfume wafted over. Un jardin souvenir. I once told her that scent was perfect for her. Now it just felt cloying. I silently scooted my chair away, moving closer to Lily on my other side. Claire looked at me, her eyes soft. "Remember you said this scent suited me best? Do you still like it?" "Not anymore," I said, my patience wearing thin. "Can we please talk about the application now?" My tone was cold and dismissive. A flicker of hurt crossed Claire's face. She studied me, sensing my displeasure, but explained anyway. "The day after tomorrow, you'll need to bring your ID and passport and attend an interview the school has for parents. If that goes well, it'll take about a week to process the paperwork. After that, the student and parents just have to come in and sign the final forms." I made a mental note of the steps and stood up to leave. Claire stopped me, pulling a small, elegant box from her purse. It was a slice of mango cake. She pushed it in front of me, her face full of eager anticipation, as if seeking praise. Beside me, Lily suddenly squeezed in, holding her small hand out to block the cake. "My daddy is allergic to mangoes. Why are you trying to hurt my daddy?" Her little face was a mask of suspicion. The word daddy shattered Claire's last illusion. The child's question was a dagger that destroyed the gentle expression Claire had been maintaining. She reached for me in a panic, her words tumbling out incoherently. "No, Nate, that's not it. I remember you love mango cake. How would you be allergic? I'll know for next time. This was my fault, all my fault. Please don't be angry, okay?" I pushed her hand away and smoothed the wrinkled sleeve of my shirt. Then I held up my left hand, flashing the wedding band on my ring finger. "I'm married, Claire. Who are you putting on the show for? Stop with these ridiculous fantasies. Once this is over, we have nothing more to do with each other." I had never seen Claire like this. She was always so cool and composed, capable of maintaining absolute calm, even during the most complex, high-stakes surgeries. Now, she looked like a shattered porcelain doll, her face pale, her shoulders trembling as she tried to process what I had just told her. Then, her voice raw, she screamed at me. "No, that's impossible. Nate, why would you marry another woman? Why would you have a child with her? You said you would love me forever. So what am I supposed to do now?" she cried, her voice thick with accusation, as if she were the one who had been deeply wronged. "What about Jessica?" I couldn't help but laugh. It's true what they say. Sometimes a situation is so absurd, all you can do is laugh. In the past, a single tear from Claire would have made me want to slap myself in self-reproach. Now, watching her sob, all I want to do is laugh. "Daddy, when is Mommy coming? I miss her." Lily frowned, tugging on my leg. I stroked her head. "Daddy misses Mommy too. The last glimmer of light in Claire's eyes died out. I ignored her and stood to leave. At the door, I paused. "Don't ever talk to me about this again," I said, my voice hard. "You don't have a right, Claire." The interview went smoothly. With some free time afterward, I took Lily to a park near our hotel. Jessica started showing up at the park every day to find me. She always carried a small backpack and maintained her elegant, proper demeanor, but something about her fell off. Most of the time, she would just sit quietly beside me, working on practice exam questions, silently watching as Lily cuddled in my lap. Jessica used to love being affectionate with me, too. She was once so lively and cheerful. I would melt every time she called me daddy in that sweet little voice, and I'd happily grant her every request. But as she grew older, she started avoiding me. She was embarrassed that I wasn't strong enough, that I didn't look impressive enough. She couldn't understand why her mother was so cold to me, so she just mimicked Claire's behavior, wounding me with her thoughtless words. I once thought Jessica was an angel sent to save me. I never imagined she was just a blade, forged from my own blood, meant to stab me in the heart. Sitting beside me now, Jessica seemed lost in thought. Then she leaned closer. "Daddy, I'm getting really good grades now. My teachers all say I could get into Cambridge or Oxford one day." Her expression was full of pride. Then she spoke again, her voice hesitant, her eyes filled with hope. "There's a school dance coming up where we can invite our parents. Could you come with me?" I froze. An image flashed in my mind. A much younger Jessica, her face full of childish determination, asking for Leo to go to her parent-teacher conference instead of me. Even now, the memory sent a dull ache through my chest. "My daddy can't go to that," Lily piped up, shaking her head. "We'll be back home by then, for sure." Then she looked at me, puzzled. "Daddy, what's Oxbridge?" I had to smile. "It's two very famous universities, Cambridge and Oxford." "But Daddy, didn't you say you just wanted to grow up healthy and happy, and to just be myself?" Lily asked, tilting her head up at me. My face softened with an undeniable affection. "That's right, sweetheart. Mommy and Daddy just want you to be a happy, healthy little bird, free to fly wherever you want in your own sky. Nothing else matters." And it was the truth. I never pushed Lily to be number one or to attend a bunch of preschool prep classes. As long as she was safe, healthy, and happy, and could enjoy her own life, that was all that mattered. I would handle the rest. I don't know which of my words struck a chord deep inside Jessica, but she suddenly burst into tears. "Daddy," she sobbed, "can I go with you?" Jessica's behavior was deeply unsettling. "What's wrong? Do you want to talk about it?" I asked her. "My mom. She thinks I'm useless," she stammered between sobs. "She said it's because I was a difficult child that you left us." After that, she got even stricter with me. She won't let me hang out with my friends. She questions me if I'm in the bathroom for more than 3 minutes, and she goes through my phone. She forces me to go to all these tutoring sessions, to get all these certificates. She says it's the only way you'll like me when you see me again, the only way you'll stay. Jessica was crying so hard her face was blotchy and red, and she could barely catch her breath. "Daddy, I won't go to amusement parks anymore, and I won't ride any roller coasters. Please come back, okay? If you come back, Mommy and I could be okay again. We could be a happy family again. Or I could just go with you." I was stunned. I never imagined Claire would become so extreme, so paranoid and controlling. And yet, it wasn't entirely surprising. She was the one who, under a sky full of fireworks, had promised to protect my confidence. In the end, she was the one who had made me insecure, sensitive, and timid. I sighed and pulled a tissue from my pocket, gently wiping away Jessica's tears. "I can talk to your mother and give her some suggestions about your education," I said softly. "But anything else, I can't promise you that." Claire was shocked that I asked her to dinner. I could hear the excitement and joy bubbling through the phone. Today, her makeup was still perfect, and she was still wearing that old necklace. She hadn't stopped smiling at me since she walked in. I got straight to the point. "I asked you here today because I want to talk about Jessica." Claire just looked at me, her voice soft. "Nate, how has your health been?" "I'm not here to catch up," I said, my tone cold. Sensing my irritation, she quickly softened her voice. "Okay, of course. Let's talk about our daughter. Are you being too strict with her?" I asked. At this, Claire actually laughed, a dismissive, careless sound. "If I'm not strict, how will she ever learn? She was always making you angry. If she hadn't, you never would have left." She took a sip of her tea, her gaze distant, as if lost in a memory. "Nate, this reminds me of how we used to be. Sitting in the sun, drinking tea, just talking. You used to say you wanted to travel, see the world. I guess we finally made that happen, haven't we?" She smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile, and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "It's so good. You're back. You're here with me now. I know I made mistakes with Jessica's upbringing in the past, but I couldn't control myself. She's the strongest link between us, Nate. I was so afraid of losing her, of losing my last connection to you. Claire rubbed her eyes and smiled at me again, a hopeful light dancing in them. But it's different now. With you here, our family is whole again. Stay in England with us. Whatever you want to do, I'll support you. We can drop Jessica off at school in the morning and go for a run, then head to work. In the evenings, we can cook steaks together as a family. Claire was lost in her beautiful fantasy. Suddenly, as if waking from a dream, her eyes flew open. She leaned forward. Nate, the only reason you won't agree to stay. Is it because you're still upset about Leo? Her expression was dead serious. Leo really did look like you in college. And I realized that whenever I mentioned him, you'd get that jealous, wounded look on your face. And it made me feel like you loved me so much. The feeling was addictive. I loved seeing how much you loved me. So I kept spending time with him. When you asked for a divorce, I thought you were just angry. But I swear, nothing ever happened between Leo and me. After we divorced, I never saw him again. She explained all this in a placating, almost pleading tone, trying to take my hand. I snatched it away. What happened between you and Leo has nothing to do with me anymore. I honestly don't care. But I want to tell you, I don't want there to be any misunderstandings between us. Claire's eyes were red, her breathing ragged with emotion. So what if you married? You could just get a divorce. As long as we love each other, that's all that matters. Are you worried about Lily? Don't be. She can stay too. I'll raise her as my own daughter. Whatever you want, okay. Her face was filled with desperate hope as she reached for my hand again. I was furious. I shot to my feet. Every person who turns and walks away once stood in the wind for a very long time, waiting. Claire, I stopped loving you years ago. Why would I get a divorce? Marrying my wife was a blessing, the best thing that ever happened to me. You will never, ever understand how much I love her. Claire seemed to deflate, all the energy draining from her body as she sank back in her chair. Her eyes were empty as she stared at the wedding ring on my finger. A ray of afternoon sun caught the metal, making it gleam. There was nothing left to say. About Jessica, I said, my voice firm. She's her own person. Stop trying to control her life with your own twisted ideas. With that final word, I turned and walked out of the restaurant. Back at the hotel, Lily had just woken up from her nap. We FaceTimed Sarah. I called her every day to update her on our trip. Are the plane tickets booked? Lily and I will come pick you up at the airport, I said, unable to hide the longing in my voice. We miss you so much. Sarah blew each of us a kiss through the screen. Just as the call ended, I received a text from Claire. The paperwork is all done. Are you free tomorrow? We have to go to the school one last time. A moment later, another text arrived. I've thought about it. I won't bother you anymore. Let's have one last dinner tomorrow night as a farewell. To celebrate for Jessica. And another. It will probably be the last dinner we ever have together. Jessica, and I want to say a proper goodbye. Her tone seemed sincere. After thinking it over, I agreed to go. When I saw Claire again a few days later, she was back to her old self, perfectly composed. It was as if our argument had never happened. She didn't make any more strange moves. The final steps of the school application were finished. I carefully placed my passport, phone, and other essentials back in the hidden pocket of my bag. Claire had chosen a famous local restaurant. When we entered the private room, Jessica thoughtfully took my coat and bag and hung them on a rack. I pulled out a small gift box. Inside was a fountain pen. Jessica, Daddy. Thank you. I love it. Lily, perhaps sensing that after this meal, we would have no more contact with Claire and Jessica, was unusually quiet. The dishes Claire ordered were all things we used to eat frequently. She probably thought they were my favorites. In reality, I didn't like any of them. I had only ever eaten them to accommodate her tastes. The meal went smoothly and was soon coming to an end. As I was about to get up and leave, Jessica suddenly spoke. Daddy, she said. Her head bowed, so I couldn't see her face. Her voice was low and trembling, with an almost sinister edge. I don't want you to go. Jessica lifted her head, her face twisted with undisguised jealousy. A dark, shadowy hatred flickered in her eyes. She pointed a finger at Lily and shrieked. Why does she get to steal you away? What does she have that I don't? I'm your daughter. You're supposed to stay here in England with me and Mommy. I was taken aback by her sudden venom and turned to look at Claire. She just sat there in silence, letting Jessica's tirade continue. You're lying. Lily shot back, waving a tiny fist. You're the one who got a new daddy. You're the one who threw away the dresses Daddy made. You're the one who didn't want him. Jessica was incensed by Lily's words. She reached under her seat and pulled out my passport and ID. Daddy, she said with a chilling smile, if you don't have these, does that mean you'll have to stay with me and Mommy Forever? What are you doing? Give those back to me. I panicked, trying to stand and grab them, but a wave of dizziness washed over me, and I collapsed back into my chair. Jessica just smiled at me. Don't worry, Daddy. Mom and I just gave you a little something to help you sleep. You'll just take a little nap, and when you wake up, we'll be home. Mom's salary is more than enough to support us now. You won't have to do anything, Daddy. You just stay home with us. Our family. We can finally be together again. I watched as Claire took my phone. I tried to stop her, but my limbs were heavy, my mind a swirling fog. Beside me, Lily had already slumped over on the table. My consciousness was fading fast, my eyelids impossibly heavy. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the doorway. What are you doing to my husband and my daughter? The voice I had been longing to hear shocked me back to my senses. Sarah didn't waste a second. She dropped her suitcase and rushed to my side, checking on me and Lily. Then she slammed her purse on the table and stormed over to Claire, her face a mask of cold fury. She slapped Claire across the face. That one, Sarah said, her voice shaking with rage, is for the man you broke. Before Claire could react, Sarah slapped her again, harder this time. And that one is for what you just tried to do to my family. I've already called the police. I'm pressing charges for drugging and unlawful imprisonment. They'll be here any minute. She came back to me, helped me to my feet, and gently shook Lily awake. Mommy! The little one blinked her sleepy eyes, saw Sarah, and launched herself into her mother's arms like a little bunny. I came early. I wanted to surprise you, Sarah explained softly, her hand on my arm. You told me this afternoon you were coming here for dinner, but then I didn't hear from you. I was so worried. Let's go home. A profound sense of security washed over me. I nodded at her and stood up, collecting my things. Nate, are you leaving us again? Claire's voice was a mangled whisper of fear, her cheek already swelling and red. She tried to run toward me, but tripped over a chair leg and fell to the floor. Outside the door stood Sarah and Lily, my family, waiting for me. Inside were Claire and Jessica. I didn't look back. Without a moment's hesitation, I walked toward my wife and daughter. I put my arm around Sarah's shoulders and took Lily's small hand in mine. Together, we walked out of the restaurant and into the light. Claire, we are never seeing each other again.